Okay, today I'm going to show you how to do the brown look for the Stingray Allstars. I've already done this eye. I've already applied all of my foundation, concealer under the eye, and I've done the blush on this cheek. So the first thing I'm going to do today is start with my eyebrows. This is not in the Fancy Face kit, but I think it's important when you're putting on a heavier eye makeup to do your brows, just to fill them in. But I'm just using this brush. This one is from Bare Essentials. It's a brow brush. And you can use whatever brown eyeshadow that you already have, as long as it's more of a matte. You don't want to use a shimmery one. And it kind of wants to match, you kind of need it to match your hair color. But just dip it in brown and then fill in along your natural eye line. Your eyebrow line, I should say. Just kind of finishes the look and gives the contrast that you need. The next thing I'm going to do is use the shadow base. This is the one from the Fancy Face collection. Now they used a lot of it when they did their videos. We're not going to use so much. Just load a little bit in your brush, and always remember with makeup colors you can add more as you can. It's harder to take it off. So start with a little and then add as you need it. But I just have some on my brush, and you only have to do from about your brow bone, corner of your eye, to the outer corner of your eye. And just a light amount of that. If you don't have a brush, this is a concealer brush that I'm using. If you don't have a concealer brush, you can use your finger like I'm doing right now. But this is an importance to holding the color on your eye, especially when you're working with a loose powder color. The next thing I'm going to do, this once again is a Bare Essentials brush. It's just a contour shadow brush. It's a fluffier head brush. Only brush I wouldn't recommend using is the little spongy ones that you get in like a Maybelline kit. But you want to use a fluffier brush. And I'm going to apply the gold first. So just get some on your brush. And we're actually going to go all over from up top to bottom, corner to corner with this. So I like to start in the middle of my eye so that if I have concentrated color or too much color on my brush, I can pull from that part. So I start there and I take it to the corner, but I don't really want to get it on my nose bone. It's okay if it gets down here. It's an okay place to have your color. You just kind of want to make all of that your gold color. Just like that. Okay. Now you can use this brush for the brown color as well. If you do, I really suggest brushing it out onto a paper towel. But I am going to switch brushes just because I do have the extra brush. But you can use this one. Just make sure that you really get out the extra gold. When I work with a darker color, I like to use a thinner brush. This is actually an eyeliner, square eyeliner brush. I like to have more control, so I use something like this. I'm going to tap the brown into the lid so that I can control it. And remember, a little bit goes a long way, and you can always add more. Tap off the excess so it doesn't fall underneath your eye. And I'm going to start once again in the middle. And I like to turn this brush kind of sideways so that it goes just slightly above my brow bone. And I keep it more tapered as I bring it into the corner of my eye. Bring it down, and then when you have it like this, you just bring it into the corner of your eye to meet the bottom lash line. So just slightly above, and bring it out. Now once you get the hang of this, it's not going to take as long as it's taking me to show you how to do this. You'll get a little faster at it, but with all makeup, practice, practice, practice. Now I bring this color just a little bit underneath the eye once you've gotten most of the color out of the brush, and you bring it to kind of meet the gold, and that'll work as your eyeliner underneath, nothing too harsh. So Don't worry about it not looking blended right now because we will blend it in together. So that's what you have so far. I'm going to use the same brush that I had, and at this point I'm not really going to worry about wiping it out too much because I'm going on top of the brown. So I'm using the maroon shimmer color, and I'm getting just a little bit into my brush. Remember, you can go back with it. Tap off the excess. And this time I'm going to start in the crease, and I'm going to go just onto the brown. You don't want to go above the brown. You're actually kind of creating a different color, almost lightening up the brown some with maroon. You go out to and bring it down. But you want to stay on top of your brown, but not really in the crease because you want to keep the brown look in the crease. If you get a little bit too much there in your crease, you can always go back with your brown and touch that up. All right. The next thing that I'm going to do is I use a pointed fluff brush. It's just a fluffy tip brush, and it's really good for kind of swirling around and blending it together. So I'm starting in the corner of my eye and just in a circular motion blending the colors together and then coming down to meet the other part. I don't want to get too much into the gold, but you do want to blend it together so that it doesn't look like a drastic difference, more of a gradient versus the drastic change. And then I always take my finger and kind of sweep it back and up towards my hairline so that it's not such a drop-off point. It's more of a blended. Okay, see that it's much different now. If you did get a little bit too much of the pink or the maroon down into the crease, I like to kind of just load a little bit into my brush and just run it back in the crease. Not all the way, just from about this point out. Just to kind of give the contrast of the crease. Now some of you, on this eye, some of you might want to use the liner. Some of you that don't want to do the eyeliner look, this is a nice way to kind of give that contrast on your lid and the definition. But you can use what you have left of your brown. And I took just a little capful of water from my water bottle. Get my brush just a little wet. There's kind of a bead of water on there. You don't want too much, but if you get too much, you can add more color. And you want to create just kind of a paste in your lid. And if you put too much makeup in there or you have to keep mixing it because you didn't get your paste right, that's fine, because the cool thing about this is it dries back into a powder, so then you have the makeup to use and you're not wasting it. So I hold the outside corner of my eye. Once again, I start in the middle and I just drag it along my outer line and slightly up to give that more dramatic effect. And I don't go much past my pupil. That kind of tends to close your eye in. If you have small eyes, it makes your eye appear bigger if you stop instead of going all the way in. All right. Now the last thing that I'm going to do on the eye is mascara. And this to me is the most important part. I like to start at the bottom so that I don't have wet eyelashes when I'm trying to look up and do my bottom. So I just start with my bottom and I just go back and forth. And then I like to start with the tops of my lashes first, and I have my daughter just look down and I roll the brush to get any kind of powder, coat any powder that might have fell on top of the lashes as I was doing the eye. Now if you have daughters like mine, they blink like crazy, so I just use the blinking as a method to get the mascara on. I have them hold their eye wide open and I hold the wand, and then I just have them slowly blink through the mascara. And that's the finished eye. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is add the blush. I like to use a tapered blush brush, but you can use whatever blush brush you have, or a big fluffy powder brush works too. But I'm just using the dashing color, putting some on my brush, knock off a little bit of the extra. And I suck in my cheeks so that I can see where my contour line is. Like a fishy face. And I go along that line and up towards my hairline. And once I have that on, I do go back with my round brush and just kind of blend it some. Remember, you are putting your child on stage. You're not sending them to school with this makeup on, so it's okay to be a little heavier. Don't go too close into this part of your mouth or it looks really weird, like it's an extension of their lips. But then I just take a brush and kind of go back through underneath the eyes and clean up to make sure that I don't have anything spilled. And that is the natural eye look, or the brown eye look, for Stingray Allstars.